Welcome, everybody. It's You Name It. I'm Jerry Taylor. We have this week something different. We have a special guest again, which is going to be a lot more frequent than we've done in the past. As a little heads up for you. I figured when I got home, it might be different, but schedules are still crazy. So I'm going to use a bunch of my entertaining friends to help with these discussions. And this week we have podcaster extraordinaire from the Flawedcast, one of the co-hosts by the name of Mr. Lamar Shirley from Seattle, Washington. Everybody, please put your hands together for Lamar Shirley.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Golf clap.
That was the worst introduction I've ever done for anyone.
I'm here. I've arrived.
Right. That's the best. The best part about the You Name It show is that we really don't edit out anything that would make me look better. We just leave in everything that makes me look horrible.
Yeah, I thought it worked. I'm extraordinaire, so I'm happy.
Yeah, actually, for everybody out there in the audience, Mr. Shirley and I, Lamar, we work together on certain jobs through the year, and he was doing his podcast before we started this up. That was what kind of prompted it, so it's kind of your fault.
Oh, thank you for the honor and the curse that I brought upon you.
Yeah, because you were doing the Flawedcast, and it sounded really interesting, and then Ryan talked about doing a video project, which everybody knows nobody wants to get involved with that. The editing alone would take hours.
Yeah, the more work you put into it, the more unlikely it's going to get done, I've found.
Yeah, it's got to be really easy. Otherwise, it can't be like a
pro tip.
It can't turn into a job unless it's being paid for.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, we just worked in Vegas together. Oh, did you want to say anything about your podcast career right now, or did you want to?
It's hurting, and I'm available, and and my rates are cheap. That's about all I got to say about that.
Let me guess. Free? Because that's what I'm paying right now.
Yeah, my day rate's free, but my per diem is like 2 beers.
You probably can tell we're doing this long distance. He's in Seattle. It's pretty hard to pass you the beer when you're out that way.
Well, I got it covered here. I got my Gatorade for now. That'll have to do. It's not as cool.
And weed is legal in Seattle, so
it is.
So if anybody's inclined, they can move there and smoke as much weed as they want to.
It's a beautiful place. Within like 3-4 miles of my house. If they tried to close them down, it'd break down 75% of the economy in this neighborhood, because that's all there is. You got a Walgreens. We don't even have a Starbucks around here, but we got 12 places to buy marijuana.
That's great.
And one of them,
the tax revenue is probably insane.
I just heard it was just heard on the news today. It was like $65 million. That
they can't cry about that.
They're not crying. They're talking about raising a gun tax on ammo, 5 cents a bullet, to raise hopefully $200,000. And we're like, well, you're doing pretty good on the screwed up rolled out system that you did in Washington, and that banks aren't even allowed to count the money to even know what's really going on. So everything's done in cash, and they still managed to make that kind of money. So bravo.
What do you mean banks aren't allowed to count the money?
Well, federally, it's against the law. So I would say, the banks are operating under a federal system where they can't work with the marijuana businesses because it's federally laundering money. So it has to be a completely cash business. So it can be very taken advantage of, especially if you're trying to hide tax money. But they managed to pull out $65 million regardless of that. If they actually had it in a bank where they could get it accounted for, I imagine the taxes would be even higher.
Yeah, I would imagine. So they're really losing out on that deal.
I imagine probably another $65 million at least.
Yeah, because cash is the way to go. Just ask Vegas, where we just worked together.
Yeah, it was a good time. I taught you how to play craps. Are you still addicted?
Exactly. I haven't gone yet to try it here in Detroit. First, I have to find out if they have the simple little sit-down machine where I can play on my own instead of fighting at the table. But yeah, I've been bragging about your technique for a while now.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a lot simpler than what I was led to believe by the other guys. who seemed like they were like, I don't know what was going on.
Well, they were drinking a lot. I was the
Yeah.
sober one that was driving the bus.
Right. I just watched Lamar put some bets down on the table and then followed him, and that's all I did the whole time.
And when they go off track, the money goes away really quickly.
Yeah, that's what I say. If you stick strictly to that betting scheme, then you're set. And I don't know. I mean, it's pretty simple to me what you're doing.
It's hard
But it
to
would take a while to
explain.
describe to the people. Yeah.
It's hard to explain to somebody because you have to go into why the odds pay off different ways and why you're putting your bets on the table in certain places. And it sounds more complicated. Then once you get it down, it's like, oh, it looks like that's pretty easy once I understand the vocabulary of what's happening here.
Yeah. Well, part of it is you don't really have to tell them why. You just tell them how to do it. So the mechanics of what you're doing stays the same.
I learned that
And,
with you
you know,
after teaching about 10 people. I told you right away, if you probably remember that, I'm not going to explain the why of it. I'm just going to tell you where to put the chips at the beginning. And then I'll tell you
right,
about
and
the
then
odds.
it comes
and all that.
together. Like for me, I understood what was happening. And I'd never played craps before in my life, but after I played a few rounds of it, I understood what the game was doing and why it was paying off more than if you didn't do it that way and all this stuff. So it's pretty simple. But really, we're kicking the audience in the balls right now because we're not telling them
thinking the same
how
thing.
to do it.
Yeah,
And-
if anybody's interested, if you look up basic crap strategy that you could learn on like Hole's Casino video game, I mean, this is no hidden secret of strategy. This is the basic thing that even the dealers will help you do once they know what you're doing, because it's known to be the best way to play craps. That anybody that's trying to not lose their ass is going to play this way.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
just
easy
a
to
short
find.
description. It's just betting on the pass and setting betting on the come line to get new points to bet to back up your bets. Trying to hit those before the guy craps out or until he passes.
And the
Right?
and the key point that you left out is that what
Yeah.
makes it great is betting the odds on those bets once you have the point established. So the
Yeah, I just said it wrong. I said backing up your bets.
backing up
What
your
I said.
bets. Well, there you go. So somebody that doesn't know, putting the bet, there's no place on it for the table. But when you put the money behind the line, that's backing up your bet and the odds. And you got to know how to work that system. When you're looking it up, that's what you want to research.
If you put $5 on the pass line, the guy gets a point. Then underneath your $5 bet on the pass line, you can put more cash.
More
in
cash.
And that increases your odds after you win.
Yeah, because it pays out very well, those
Yes, it
particular
does.
bets. Now,
I mean,
you got
a
the
lot
crazy.
of it was $47 when I would put.
Yeah, it's nice,
you know.
huh? It's like, bam!
Right.
Goes away quick, too, if you don't do it right. So
sure does.
there's some crazy people out there that think that they can control the dice. It's called controlled dice throwing, I believe. And I've read the books on it, and I've tried it. I'm one of the crazy people that thought, hey, I wonder if that's possible. So we're playing this what's called bubble craps, I've found out.
Okay.
And I started to think, I wonder if I can hit this button when I see certain patterns on the dice here and be able to affect it with the controlled dice theories that I've read in these books. So we definitely didn't play enough for me to get enough numbers to make any kind of scientific evidence. But it seemed with the way I was rolling that I was doing, I was ending up with more horn numbers such as 2s, 3s, 11, 12, and maybe if I bet on those things, there might be a mathematical. Anyway, it got my brain going into other ways to explore how to lose my money.
Right. It's always fun learning new ways to lose your life savings.
It's entertaining
But,
to prove myself wrong.
I had my own superstition going that I talked to you about while we were there, and it was really stupid too. Because in this bubble craps game, they have like a weird lady's voice that yells at you.
Oh, right.
And says, "Roll the dice, roll the dice," shit like that. And
In
what
a
I would
high,
do is,
annoying voice.
yeah, I wouldn't roll before she. I think I had to wait for her to say it a couple of times
Right,
before
right.
I would roll.
Yeah,
Because there's a point where it said you could roll, and then I'd have to wait for her to say it like 2 times, and then I'd have to wait until in the overhead camera view that they have, I had to wait until I saw a 6, and then I'd hit the button right when I saw a 6.
Yeah, it makes just
And
much
that
sense as
seemed-
what I'm trying to do. Go ahead.
Right, I was saying, and it seemed to me that I was doing really well doing that.
Yeah, you gotta wait till she's really pushing you to roll the dice. You don't want her to fool you into getting you to roll them on the first shout. Yeah, I was hearing
Right.
that girl's voice for weeks after the first time we went to Vegas because we played
Yeah.
that thing too many hours, and I'm hearing roll the dice.
Right,
Or
but your
push
your
the button.
system.
That's the one.
Oh, that's
Push
what it
the
was.
button.
Push the button. Right.
Every time I saw a button, I hear push the button.
Yeah, your system worked well for me though. Before I started getting really reckless, but I got reckless. I told you I was doing it on purpose, which I was. I just wanted. You said the appropriate word at the end of the night when him and I were sitting at the table. I started making horn bets and then field bets and all this different stuff, and he was saying. You were giving me the eyeball, and I go, I'm just doing it because it's my last night here, and this money I'm betting with it already isn't mine because it's all winnings, basically.
So I might as
And
well
you
go
go,
ape shit.
yeah, you said go big or go home, right? And I was like, yeah, I'll give that a shot. Who knows? Maybe because the thing was, when he wasn't with me, I sat down with $80 that I won on the slot machine at lunch, and parlayed that into $470 before I walked away and went to my room, and then
Nice.
and then came back down to play with you. So, and that was all playing just your system with no side bets.
That's
And
how
that's
they get
probably
you.
what I should have remembered.
That's why I believe in beginner's luck, and I think I'm not the only one. Because anything you try, you go out and it works. Then it seems, oh, well, it makes sense. Now I got this figured out, and then they got you by the balls. You, you
Yeah, but it
can
wasn't
never
as
take.
beginnery as the other one because we had you came down right after what was it? Right after we got out of there that day, you showed me before you went back to work. You showed me the system on one of the machines, and then we split apart. You remember? So,
Vaguely. It was
so,
Vegas.
and I won on that too. So that was the beginner's luck part. When I moved to a whole different machine and sat down, then I was
Oh,
on my
yeah,
own.
yeah,
No more beginner's luck. Now I was on my own. And,
yeah. Yeah, once you can, I can walk away and you know what you're doing, you're screwed.
wait, let me say an appropriate response. Hang on one second. I got to look it up, people. All right, let me try this. Yeah, no, you're right.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. I found out while we were working together on the road that you hate when people say yeah, no.
Well, it's kind of a pet peeve. And what bothers me, I spell poorly, I'm no grammar Nazi, but I do notice when trends develop in the language that people don't even seem to realize they're doing. And this is one of them where I hear, yeah, no, 10 times a day. And nobody
Yeah,
seems
no,
to.
I do too. Yeah, no, I get it.
And nobody seems to realize they're doing it. I think it's going to be in the dictionary within the next few years. They'll be like,
Oh, they're gonna add
why are
it.
they adding yeah, no to the dictionary? Because everybody's saying it. But,
Yeah, they're gonna put it in the section called "shitty ways to talk that are stupid." All
well,
right, maybe I was
changed.
going overboard.
They changed literally to the definition that everybody was using and when they were using it improperly because everybody was saying literally improperly.
Yeah.
And you can imagine that drove me a little insane. But they actually changed the dictionary. So I'm
Shut up, did they?
they did. Now you can say literally and not mean literally because literally means figuratively. I don't know.
Right.
And
So
the other one,
the problem is they literally changed the dictionary for that.
yeah, and they literally broke my heart.
Yeah, I hate that one too. But that wasn't one of the. What was the other one? You had another one that bugged you too.
I'm not sure if I told you about this one or if this is what you're referring to, but I thought it was interesting when I have this friend who her mom speaks fluent German, lives in Portugal. I don't know what the story is
Okay.
there, but she calls her mom and she goes into German mode. And she told the story about her mom kept on saying, "That's super cool." And she said, "Mom, why do you keep on saying super cool in English?" And she said, "Well, that's all you Americans are saying super cool these days." And she's like, "No, we're not saying super cool." So she tells me the story. And then I
Yeah.
start listening, and I realize that everybody does say super cool all the fucking time. And
Right.
it also drives me crazy. I don't know if that's the one I told you
No, there was a different one that neither one of us are going to remember because my notes that I took they in Vegas says yeah, no, plus the other one.
It may have been. Here's the deal. That's one
I don't know.
that I that one doesn't bother me as much, but a lot of people are using that one recently. Look, here's the deal.
But we both had the same speaker in our breakout rooms. We were at a convention, and in these giant conventions, they hire all of these motivational speaker type people to come in and talk about sales and things like that. So we have to sit in these rooms and run the equipment for them, the audio and video stuff. But we both had the same British guy who was saying right all the time, wasn't it?
It was yeah. So anytime you explain something,
it was the yeah thing. Yeah.
So you gotta go to the store, yeah. And then when you get to the store, you gotta like go to the produce, yeah. And then buy an apple, yeah.
Exactly.
It was just
yeah.
like,
I do it all the time myself. I do it constantly myself. But I started noticing how much it bugged me when he was doing it. Yeah. And
it was
then
just
I decided
too much.
I'm going to have to stop trying to do it. Yeah.
It's
but
okay every
British,
once in a while.
It sounds kind of normal.
I thought I'd never heard anybody do it before, and then I ended up going to the hotel room and watching Ramsay's Nightmare Kitchen or whatever it was, and noticed he was doing it. So
Right.
maybe he's from a certain part of town in a certain kind of place. You gotta make sure that they understand you clearly at the end of every sentence.
Right, you donkey.
Yeah.
Put
Yeah?
the tarragon in with the nutmeg, yeah?
Do I gotta ask you every time?
That was a horrible British accent. I'm usually pretty good at that one. I think I just lost it. I don't even know what that was. I'm going to have to listen back to it to find out what language that was supposed to be.
That was something from Shrek. It sounded like to me.
I guess so. I don't know. It's like it equates to what a grade school kid would tell you when you asked his nationality. He would be like, "I'm 1/4 Scottish. I'm an eighth Cherokee Indian." Because everybody has to have Cherokee for some reason. And
Hey, man.
and my mom's Polish. And
I'm 1/8 Cherokee, I think.
See, everybody.
Everybody, even Lamar.
Lamar Shirley is that's the big Cherokee name. The best one I've ever heard.
Yeah. Chief Shirley. You never heard of the guy?
Chief Shirley.
And the other thing that happened in
statue
Vegas.
in the Badlands.
Yeah, there is.
what-
There is. Another thing that happened in Vegas that kind of blew my mind is when you told me that Kenny Rogers was the singer for the first edition and
Yep.
sang that song. So just today I was looking at YouTube videos thinking, is there a documentary about this? I have to look into this. But the thing that
Yeah.
blew my mind about it was their drummer, the first edition's drummer, was this Mickey Jones dude who is like an actor and has been in a bunch of TV spots as like the biker in the background that's got his torn jean jacket on and his scruffy beard. Like, I'm gonna help you out. He was on like the A-Team.
Okay.
He was on a Total Recall, Sling Blade, Vacation. He's been in all these movies, and then also his music career. He's played drums for all these icons. This is one badass dude. I want to see a
No, it
documentary
sounds like
on
he
this guy.
sounds like he's had a great life.
So I'm watching these videos from the first edition with Kenny Rogers rocking out. I just dropped in that song. And,
Yeah, that's a
and I see
beautiful
this
song.
Mickey
I'm gonna have
Jones.
to link that on the page. Too.
Yeah, my rendition doesn't exactly sound like Kenny Rogers, but
Yeah, nobody wants to hear me singing it either.
so Mickey Jones, I want to know more about this guy. He looks like a badass. But you blew
But
my
everybody
mind.
look up. Everybody out there, look up Kenny Rogers in the first edition. The song is just. I don't know the actual title of the song, but if you looked up to Just Dropped In, or
I think
looked up
that's
to
what it's
see
called.
or no, it's called What Condition My Condition Is In.
Okay, yeah, from Big Lebowski. Everybody
And they had it in there. Okay.
Oh yeah, it was a famous song. I mean, famously in that movie.
Yeah, because the weird thing is about it, probably for you, is that we did that other Vegas show a month before, and that was one of the pieces of walk-in music that we had to use, but it was a remake. It was from a different band. So
That's right. That's what sparked the conversation. Speaking of bands,
yeah.
I got to tell you a little a little bit of my experience of getting to hang out with Van Halen this weekend.
Yeah, I wanna hear this.
And I got to I'll just speak delicately around some of this just because of who we're
Well, no one
talking
knows who we
about.
are.
Yeah, theoretically. So I can't give away hints to identify myself, but I was privy to watch the Van Halen rehearsals for their new tour coming up with David Lee Roth over
Yeah,
the weekend. So it was like 3-4 days, so I got to experience a little bit of what was going on with that, and it was memorable. So like the
yeah.
first day, David Lee Roth didn't even show up, and the band just went out there, went through the whole set list. I mean, they were troopers. The three Van Halens, they just go out
Right.
there and get her done, and then they sing every backup vocal, even though they're all alone out there. You just hear "Running with the Devil" every
Well,
once
that's
in a
pretty
while.
cool that they don't have anybody to, Dave's not there to scream it out. So they're so well in tune that they come in right at the same time every time, right?
Oh yeah, they're pro. And as much as you like Wolfgang Van Halen took over the spot, what the hell? He pulled his
Yeah.
own. He pulled his weight. He did a good job. I have to give him credit. The guy did all right. And so the next night, David Lee Roth shows up. They go through the same thing again,
Yeah.
and then they get halfway through the set and you realize, wow, this guy can't sing anymore. He doesn't have what it takes. Every song is now "Running with the Devil." Hey, remember that time back in L.A. in 1982 when I was real cool? Running with the
Oh
devil.
God.
Ow! That's pretty much
Right.
that's the whole concert.
You are really making me feel bad now because I already bought tickets.
Well, you got to see this train wreck. And then
No, I do want to see it. That's what when I talked with Lisa about it, we both agreed that we'd like to see Eddie play again.
oh,
But it would be good to make fun of David Lee Roth because he's now not even human. He's just a caricature
oh
of.
man, it's crazy.
He's a cartoon of something.
Surrounded by security. Oh, it's crazy.
Does
But
he ride a golf cart from like the hallway to the stage?
it's pretty short walk, so I have to give him credit for walking all the way there in his brown coveralls, the overalls that he wears everywhere he goes.
Did he look sober at least?
Uh, kind of, yeah. I got to give Eddie Van Halen. He was sober and he was on top of
Yeah.
his game, and the band sounded hot, and it was like watching a virtuoso in his prime. Just nail it. So
Well, back when I saw Van Hagar, I remember it was one of the first concerts that I saw that wasn't tracked but sounded like it was.
oh
You
right.
they played off script all the time, but it sounded like we were listening to a recording come right out of us, like a studio recording. They were so good.
You can pull off the vocals and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but you could tell because there's a bunch of improvisational stuff, but because you can see what they're doing, you can tell that it's not a recording. You could watch Eddie's fingers as he's playing, and he's not slipping up anything. And
I was talking to
everything
his
sounded great.
his guitar tech, and he was telling me that for his guitar that he does his solo on, he has to tune it like a little bit flat, I think it was, because he doesn't play the notes long enough for them to settle into the proper frequency they're supposed to be in. He's so
Hmm,
fast that he has to tune the guitar incorrectly so the note hits quickly enough. That's pretty
that's
nuts.
crazy. I wonder. Well, I'm sure he's not lying to you, but that sounds almost like urban legendy. You know,
I don't know. It just happened. I'm spreading the legend right now if it's urban.
I believe the guitar tech because that's got to be a shit part of the job where you have to do well, I guess it is a job. You got to do special tunings all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Apparently, this guy is some legend who builds amps in his garage and got a reputation big enough to be the tech. He was the dude, I guess. That was
well, he has to be if he's
yeah,
with those guys.
exactly.
There's no way to get somebody who's just. You're not going to take your friend from the street who doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Probably not. Not in this day and age. So anyway, to continue on with the rehearsal. So David Lee Roth kind of throws a fit. He's like, all right, we're to the point where I need to play my guitar. And I thought, oh, he shouldn't play guitar. What's up with that? And so
Yeah.
he's like, hey, instead, I don't want the amp like we planned. I just want to do it cordless. Anybody hear me? And nobody wants to answer back because everybody's just in fear of this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, we'll get right on it. and then they kind of like start a fire line to run this cable up there because nobody wants to get near him. And
He doesn't. He doesn't want to play it wireless. He wants to be plugged in. Is that what he's saying?
yeah, something to that effect. Yeah, he had to get plugged in, I guess, because I remember the cable going up there, and then he ended up getting it tangled, and he couldn't get the knot out of it, and he got pissed at the whole crew because there was a knot in the cable.
Did
And
he put there?
I don't know how it got there. I wasn't involved in that particular cable, and I plead the fifth in every regard. So anyway, he gets pissed off, and he gets his little tiny acoustic guitar, and he starts playing this chord and telling a story.
Yeah.
And okay, must be some kind of, I don't know what's going on here. It seemed kind of weird, like the band wouldn't want him to do it. But I later figured out it's supposed to be the intro to Ice Cream Man. But he starts telling a story about he's on a freeway in New Jersey, and this lady gave birth and named the baby after Nextel because they were in a Nextel parking lot, and he went way off script for like 15 minutes until the whole band just turned around and walked off stage pissed and left him there and didn't even finish the rehearsal.
That's at the rehearsal. Yeah.
That's at the rehearsal, and he kept telling the story. And at the end, all the stage hands are like, he said purple peanut butter baby blanket. What was that? Because the stories make no sense at all. It went on forever. So at the final show, when he finally came to this point of the story where, and there was an ice cream man down the street. Oh, cheers. All right. So he played his one chord on the thing and threw his fit. And the whole crew was like, that was the biggest drama queen thing we've ever seen. Allegedly, the crew said this. Yeah. Because if my fake name ever gets out there, I don't want this to be a true story.
Right. You never know. We might get 600 listeners who will hear this behind-the-scenes secret information.
Well, I was thinking you might want to call this episode in honor of David Lee Roth, Purple Peanut Butter Baby Blanket.
I don't know. I think I'm going to come up with something a lot better than that because I've noticed that I've been looking at some stats lately, and one of the biggest draws on our episodes is the one titled "Gay Pizza Cake." And
okay.
For some reason, I think they keep seeing that, and they don't know what the hell, so they're gonna push that button. But I think they kind of know what the issue is because of the cake and the gay part.
Oh, right.
I don't know about purple baby peanut butter blanket. They might pass that one right up.
Hey,
how about David Lee Roth as a drama queen?
Everybody knows that.
Or just go right with it, like behind the scenes with Van Halen.
Any of those would work, but we may come up with something better when I start telling you my addition to my conspiracy theory about Stephen King.
You think? Well, I don't know if Stephen King's as big of a draw, conspiracy-wise, as I mean, or at least. What would you call it? Pop culturally, right now, Van Halen's pretty big.
I guess that's true. It makes me
sad.
Eddie
came out and yelled at everybody about how shitty they were. Did you see that?
I think I did. I've been watching everything on YouTube I can about him this weekend after these events.
I didn't watch him. I didn't watch the clip of him talking. I watched Sammy Hagar's rebuttal, but talking about how Michael Anthony didn't know how to play his instrument.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, telling me that he had to come over to his house and show him how to play all the parts before every show or whatever, which I think has got to be just bullshit. It can't be that way.
No, it can't. I read that article because it was written by this guy Chuck Klosterman, who writes really great essays, and then I was like, oh my god, I was blown away by what Eddie was saying in it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, what kind of I read Sammy's book. And it didn't give a great impression of David Lee Roth, but still it didn't hit to that level. I think after reading a bunch of stuff about them, watching biographies or documentaries about the band, and then seeing that, it pretty much tells you who's the asshole in the band.
Seems like there might be some kind of... I kept on seeing references to lying. Like, Eddie might be a pathological liar, because then you'd see interviews with him where he's like, automatically goes to, I'll take a lie detector test. Like somebody who says that a lot.
If you have to keep telling people you're going to take a lie detector test, then there's some suspicion going on.
It reminds me of the ex-girlfriend who swears that she's not crazy because the doctor told her so.
A doctor told me I wasn't crazy. Was this what kind of doctor was it? It was my podiatrist, and
I'm like, so we've had this discussion with a professional already. I see.
right.
I think we need a second opinion.
Experts have said. You see that blanket media line. People are saying that I'm not crazy. Who? The people in my head. Yes.
She's a perfect candidate for one of them rental wives you were talking about.
Exactly. The whole thought process about, because prostitution is legal in Vegas, Lamar and myself were deciding that what they really need, if you really want to, because what you're doing is you're renting a girlfriend for the night. If you
Right.
really missed home on your business trip, if you're missing home, then you should probably just rent a wife. Wouldn't that be
Exactly.
better?
And
You know,
it
that
should
way.
make a better cover if you're having a business meeting with other professionals. If she's treating you properly like a wife would, you might be able to get away
Right.
with it a little better.
Right. If she's not laughing at any of your jokes,
If she's
uh,
looking for a
know,
new husband, mingling
tell
with
you-
the crowd.
telling you to go get her stuff, go get me another drink. You know.
If
And then the
she's,
best part is they don't even have to sleep with you, just like a real wife.
I know, so we could probably make it legal in any state. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's our new idea. It's our new $1 million idea. You
Gotta
can,
work on
you can feel just as shitty on the road as you do at home.
rental wife.
I know. You know how much shit I'm going to go through just for making that joke? It's a joke, people.
Oh yeah, I haven't
I'm not
been
getting
married.
treated
so.
shitty at home.
Oh yeah, we weren't referring to. I was referring to Lamar Shirley's imaginary wife.
I'm not referring to my Lisa at home because it's just not going to be good.
Yeah, no.
I'll be in- Let's just get out of here real quick. Let's get out of this
Yeah.
one.
So my Stephen King's conspiracy.
Yeah.
We're both reading Finders Keepers, his latest book. I'm about halfway through it. I don't know where you're at, but
Did you get to the point that we were waiting for? Because we finally found it.
I think I know what you're referencing, but I
You
don't know.
wanted to know when they were going to say Finders
Yeah, I
Keepers.
definitely got to that point. I mean, nothing that I thought was going to happen in the book has so far happened. All my guessing was wrong.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, it did give me some extra insight on my conspiracy theory.
Oh, it did? How so?
Okay, because first of all, my conspiracy theory started when I saw a documentary about how Shakespeare might have been Francis Bacon, who had
Okay.
a legion of writers underneath him that he would kind of edit and make stories. So I thought Stephen King, with all the material he's put out, may have people that write stories and then he edits them, puts them together, and they put them at the Stephen King label. I love Stephen King. This is just a fantasy theory. He's
I
a
get
great
you.
author. Lamar Shirley endorses. So this was my original theory that, okay, this guy can't be writing this much. And his books have changed in style over time as well. And now, reading this new book,
Yeah.
my favorite Stephen King book is The Long Walk, which you also.
Yeah, I was saying that was the best creepy book.
And that was written under a fake name, Richard Bachman.
Correct.
And in this book, it gave me the idea that maybe when Stephen King was young, he found some things by this Richard Bachman guy and ended up taking credit for them. And has then built the reputation that he has in order to keep this charade going.
You think
And-
Richard Bachman was a real guy?
I don't think this is true. I'm just fantasizing. But I think he could have been a real guy. Like, this would make an interesting story. And I also have noticed that he refers to him as Dick Bachman a lot. And in about
Yeah.
every second or third Stephen King book, there's a guy named Dick in the background somewhere. He uses that name a lot. Never as a main character, but just somebody that's in the back in half his books. I mean, it seems like to me.
It's just a name he likes, huh?
So I think that maybe he's paying a little tribute to the guy whose author he loved and took credit.
Yeah, maybe the real Richard Bachman gets points for every time the name Dick is mentioned.
The real
Or
Richard Bachman died. He was killed off.
His family. Maybe it's
because-
his family.
Yeah, I think.
See, you're wrecking my conspiracy theory now. I'm trying to explain the frequency of usage.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was possibly just a little tribute out there. And even a crazier theory. Uh, when I used to live in downtown San Francisco, there was this white van that was always parked just around downtown San Francisco that said Stephen King killed John Lennon. And it had like all these newspaper clips, and the guy would just like sit out there with a bullhorn and be like, "Stephen King killed John Lennon." This went on for months. I never looked into his evidence because it was probably it's about as founded on as solid ground as my theory, so I didn't look into it.
Unless, of course, John Lennon was actually Richard Bachman.
Ah, that could be.
Now it's coming together. John Lennon was writing as Richard Bachman, and Stephen King hired Mark David Chapman to kill John Lennon.
Oh, John Lennon secretly was writing books. Oh, I
Yeah.
like it. It could be.
See where we can go. That's perfect. You're right. We got to change the title of the show now.
I told you it's going to happen. We haven't gotten to my theory.
We're going to change it to Stephen King killed John Lennon.
Or did he? I have
Or
no
did
idea.
he?
But anyway, I'm liking that new book.
Yeah, I am too. It's great.
I'm like
a
halfway
giant
through
fan
it.
of Stephen King.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sitting here trying to remember who it was that heard the shot. Oh, one of my favorite old schooly musicians is James Taylor, and who incidentally was signed as the first artist for Apple when the Beatles formed Apple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the first guy. But the night the night that John Lennon was shot, James Taylor was on the phone with some, producer or some work friend in the music business and heard the shots because he was staying, a block over from the Dakota building.
No wonder he's so
he
sad.
Had his window open and he heard the shots and then he gets off the phone and then the guy calls right back and says that John Lennon was killed. So he actually heard him get killed.
Oh, that's messed up.
He was just talking about that on Howard Stern, who had him on for. There's a plug for Howard because he needs it way more than we do.
Did he write a song about it?
I don't know.
I wonder if we can analyze the songs and find out.
No, but he's got some great stuff. He was
I like his
friends with
voice.
John Belushi, too.
Wow.
They were pretty good friends. He was a pallbearer at John Belushi's funeral.
Damn.
And he's got a song that talks about that, too, a little cryptically in one of his songs. The line goes, John's gone, he's found dead, he died high, he's brown bread, lately said to have drowned in his bed. After the laughter, a wave of dread hits you like a ton of lead. And that's why I'm here, is the line of the song. And it's all about John Belushi.
Jeez.
Yeah. Can you imagine those two hanging out? I can't imagine they'd have anything in common.
I know.
Besides heroin.
Yeah. It seems like he'd be a downer everywhere he went because his songs are just all melancholy.
Oh, no, I think he was a pretty good partier. That's why he was thrown in the insane asylum a couple of times.
Oh,
and
whoa.
then, of course, he had to dry out a couple of times, too.
I heard that part. The Sane Asylum?
Yeah, he talked all about that on Howard's show, too.
Oh, wow.
He was, when he was maybe 17, 18 years old, he had a nervous breakdown. They put him away for a while.
Damn.
Then when he got hooked on drugs, they put him away again in the same kind of place. They figured it was all related. Nobody knew about bipolar depression. So that's what you got to do. You got to catch him on an upswing. Belushi kept trying to catch him on the upside, probably.
Damn. I got to listen to that. I've been listening to some Howard Stern recently because they had a Van Halen 4-hour edit of all the interviews through time. So now I'm back on the Howard Stern kick.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when that was. I can tell you kind of when that was because I know where I was sitting in Arizona when it happened. It was around the third week of May. So you can look in the on-demand archives in the third week of May, 3rd or 4th.
It was like a edit from that started in 86 or something.
I'm talking about the James Taylor one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like the 11th, 12th, or 13th of May.
Oh, okay.
If anybody out there wants to look it up on Sirius On Demand.
Where's my pen? Here it is. Let's get podcasting live. write that down. All right, I'll
See there, letting people behind the curtain. Just like in case they didn't know you were using a pseudonym, you're like the worst ever with a pseudonym. You keep pointing it out. That's not how you use it. It's not like John Lennon kept walking around all the time going, "I'm Richard Bachman, everybody."
I guess I might have blown the mystery.
Right. I'm just trying not to say your real name.
Like one of the Beatles is Paul has a fake. Have you heard that theory where he has the fake guy came in and ended up being?
Yeah, I heard it all the time. When I was a kid.
What was that guy's name? Do you remember?
I don't know, but
Anyway.
they were just saying that he died at, what is it, at 18 years old? No, wait, or 21?
Yeah, I shouldn't have
What
brought
you have
that
to
up.
do is
I had no evidence.
You've got to look. You got to look at the Abbey Road cover, and there's a license plate on the car that says something like 21 if, and that's supposed to symbolize how old Paul McCartney would have been if he hadn't died. And also that's why he's barefoot, just like people are traditionally buried barefoot. That's why he's the only barefoot one crossing the street.
I think it's tied into my Stephen King theory. This is all goes together. Mine's just as plausible as that is.
Yeah, exactly, because they're all crazy conspiracy theories.
So did you ever check out that any of those demos for that HoloLens?
No, I didn't. Now on to Tech Talk, the HoloLens from...
I was brought it up because I kept bringing it up in Vegas. It's kind of a joke. I decided to bring it into every conversation because I was blown away by it. But
if
man,
people even know what it is, people probably tell them what it is.
That thing is the future. So at E3, which is this video game convention, this came up. They showed the HoloLens, which is like this pair of sunglasses you put on, and you can see holograms and interact with them with finger gestures. So if you wanted to play Minecraft, was the demo they had. It just comes up on a table, and you can start playing with it like Legos in 3D, and you could walk through a room and play with screens that are just floating in the air. You could have the news playing in the top left corner where you got your Facebook on your bottom right that follow you as you walk through the room.
Yeah.
And then you can just throw one
Sounds
on the
very
wall.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And they're demoing the thing. This isn't like, we plan on doing this in 10 years. This is like, this is our prototype and it's up and running. So it's going to be pretty badass within the next year or two. So I got excited.
You didn't do it yourself, though, right?
I didn't do it myself, but I listened to a lot of podcasts where people that have tried it, pretty much everybody that tries it is, you can't demonstrate how awesome it is till you put it on, and once you put it on, your mind is blown forever. So I can't wait to put one on and blow my mind forever.
As if it didn't happen years ago, with the mind you're carrying around.
True story.
Nope, I haven't even looked it up yet. I don't know. This seems like the time you should plug Motif, too, because we talked about that. As long as you're talking about tech futures.
Well, I'll plug it to the point to where we're not making any money on it. So I'll just say that it's a thing that exists called Motif, where you can put together I'm into stock trading, and this thing was attractive to me. So you can put together a group of, say, 10 companies that are working on virtual reality. That's one of them I made. I don't know if it's 10, but whatever. And then for the price of trading one stock, so let's say $8-9 transaction fee, you can split your $250 or $1,000, whatever, gets split among all these stocks that you put in this thing. So you get to make your own mutual fund, pretty much. And
it's about about being able to put together a portfolio that's based upon an idea rather than even an economic sector if you don't want to. So you can create. I think if I heard them right or looked at it right, you could even type in ideas and it'll give you different ways to invest in an idea.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you told me about it, and I said, well, the first thing I can think of that a trend that I know is just going to be part of the future in some way is virtual reality. So I went on the website and I typed in virtual reality, and they didn't seem to have one already pre-built for that. Yeah. But they do have ones pre-built for robotics or just name an industry. They just didn't get up to virtual reality yet. So I was able to create my own and you can also make it public or not make it public and put it up there for other people to also look into.
Right, but you said you even get a piece of it. Like if somebody uses yours, don't they drop 5 cents into your account or something like that?
It's something like $1. I mean, I don't know if it's anything worth aspiring to.
Well, I mean, if you
like $4 a
created
year, maybe.
If you created a really good one and
Yeah.
100,000 people joined and gave
Some
you
of them
$1,
do.
then you'd be happy. Yeah,
Some of
you'd
them
be
that
happy about
created
that.
one that blew up and it has made 200% a year, and they got a lot of followers. I'm sure they made a few bucks.
Yeah,
So that's
I still haven't done it yet, but you could probably search for anything like horse racing, and they put together a bunch of related companies.
You can.
Yeah.
When I first built mine and sat there and watched it for like 2 weeks, but then when I saw that HoloLens demo, I was like, sold. I gotta get my money in this thing right away, because
Right.
if not now, that definitely is the future. I mean, I can't imagine that everybody's not going to be in some kind of form of virtual reality all the time with the way people
Yeah.
treat their telephones right now.
You didn't say it right now. You should have said, it is the distant future.
That distant future.
Anyway, I don't know if I have anything else for you. We've actually done a whole show here.
An entire show done already?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's what happens on You Name It. Time flies.
I didn't even get to talk about 10 Things I Hate About You. I'm sure your audience is really upset that we didn't get to go over that movie.
10 things I thought you were talking about me.
No, the movie from the 90s about teenage relationships and heartache.
and heartache. Yeah, I'll tell you what I didn't get to. I didn't get to my mother's milk topic. So I'm sure that's a good teaser for the next time the show's on.
I can't wait for that one.
Maybe we'll have to do that in another show where you're on.
All
Mother's
right.
milk and 10 things I hate about you.
I'll do some research on that.
But this thing here was packed with information. All this behind the scenes making fun of David Lee Roth. And finding out finally who killed John Lennon.
It's packed.
Because that was such a mystery.
I'm glad we could get this solved. And I appreciate you having me on the show.
No, thank you. We're going to be doing it a lot more. And the crowd will have to listen in to see how this develops. But anyway, I'm dropping little Easter eggs for the listeners so that they can write me and say what the hell's going on. Nothing's going on yet. Something may happen. Who knows? Anyway.
All right.
To end on a cryptic note, thanks for being on the show. Everybody share, and nobody try and figure out who Lamar Shirley really is. We don't need to have Van Halen suing him because of the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, everybody. See you next time.